Okay, this is my Mushihimesama Futari Black Label Original 1 credit clear. That's a bit of a mouthful and probably has a bit of a Shin Megumi Tensei vibe, being said with an Australian accent, so hopefully some people find amusement in that. Anyway, this is the replay of my clear, which was probably the second hardest clear I think I've done so far. Maybe Akai Katana Original was also as difficult, but for different reasons. This one I was working on for probably a month seriously, and a little bit on and off for 2 months before that. Just dabbling here and there and messing around with some of the stages. The biggest hurdle was basically stage 3, and anybody that's played this game will tell you stage 3 is the hurdle that you just have to keep getting past, but we'll see that when we get there. But for now, this is the replay, and I'll just get started. Stage 1 I had done so many times, I was getting pretty reckless. When I did this run, I had a couple of restarts and I was getting impatient and careless. So this is me kind of just speeding through the stage, just getting in the face of enemies to try and get those big yellow gems. Not that it really adds a lot to the score, but it just helped me with getting the first extend at least as early as possible. And a lot of replays, I saw people getting that around stage 3, start of stage 4, so anytime I wasn't getting it at the same point, it sort of made me panic a little bit. Those boulders were a bit of a pain in the ass the first few times. I used to get hit by them a lot. This mid-boss usually just dies pretty quickly. There's not much to say about him other than dodging his 2 or 3 patterns. These boulders as well, got hit by them when I was starting out quite a lot. And so I'm still just doing what I did at the start, just getting up in the face of enemies and shooting them. Could be closer, but like I said, I'm sort of impatient at this point, and I'm doing what I can, but also trying to just be safe and get back to the end of stage 2, stage 3, which is where I was tripping up a lot at the time. This boss is very simple. First pattern, I normally just dodge to one side, then cross over, dodge that spread, move on to the second part here, which is pretty easy. Just sit there and normally you barely see those red flames come out. So once he's dead, the next stage is where I started to have some problems here and there. I think this next stage, a big part of it is having a route and sticking to it, not lagging behind. So normally I'd go to the right and get those jellyfish, try and focus on these lobsters as they come in. I was a little bit slow here because I'm normally crossing over and then getting this guy, but it sort of worked out for the better. Then I go over to the left and I back off and then go across. Normally there's jellyfish here, but I obviously slaughtered them too quick. I sit on the left and get these 3 lobsters that pop up, and then I try and cross over and get I think it's 4. No, it's 3. And then there's another one over here. Then I usually move over in front of the icicle and destroy that to get the cancel. Same deal as before, back off from the lobster and cross over. This would be a section I'd often just hit a stray bullet when I was having a bad night. And it's a bit like stage 1. I had done it so many times and I'd been able to do it so cleanly without using bombs, no miss, that I'd get tilted anytime I made a mistake, and it would just sort of snowball. Once again, moving over to the icicles for cancels. And shifting across, just steadily trying to avoid the clusters of bullets and making sure I'm in the right spot for the bigger enemies. This mid-boss was... I've never really been hit by him. I think I've been hit once, but it was like a crappy run anyway, so I didn't really dwell too much on it. This part here, I just sort of shift to one side normally and then shift back and forth and try and get in front of this guy. Destroy him before he can do too much. Bit more of crisscrossing at the bottom. Another bigger enemy that I get in front. Sort of let this guy come in front of me before I go over to these two turtles. Normally I don't get pushed as far down after that, but this time it happened and it seemed to work out. Once again, I let this guy get in front and then shift over while he's being cancelled. And now I'm up to the second boss, so I'm just gonna get the bomb and the power up and get ready to fry some calamari. Similar to the stage 1 boss, I'm just dodging before crossing over and get ready for this bit where it's a little bit of on-site dodging. This pattern here is kind of funny. If I sit in front of him, I can normally get away with killing him before I have to use a bomb, but often if I make a mistake, there's no time to get back in front. And this third pattern is basically just hold out until he dies, because he melts in Black Label. And that's the second boss done. And now this is the absolute hurdle that is stage 3. Yeah, this stage you can use practice mode and just keep trying. You get through it and everything's fine, and then you clip a bullet on the boss and then you do it again, you lose a full stock of bombs. Or you go through the stage and you bomb very liberally, you don't even think about holding bombs or like trying to no-miss the stage or anything, and then you get through it. It's a strange stage. But what I normally do is try to get in front of certain enemies. Like these guys, I try to get in front or to one of the sides, or instead macro around the pattern. There's a praying mantis that will pop up on screen just here. Normally I hit focus and make sure he just dies as quick as possible. Crisscrossing back and forth, just dealing with these chunky boys leading up to the mid-boss. Some of the dodging that starts from here is a bit crazy, and I can't explain it. It felt right at the time. Once again, another mantis enters the screen, hit focus and kill him as quick as possible. So yeah, so here's the chunky boys that lead up to the mid-boss, the big fly or whatever he is. This guy is pretty easy depending on how he moves, because sometimes this pattern can leave you with no like real visible gaps or nothing that looks sort of reachable. Then I'll sit to one side and shift over, normally left to right, so I could go back across and get the chunky boys. Shoot these guys for the cancel, bit more crisscrossing. This is where it starts to get really hairy. This is where I usually try to use a bomb, but in this run I use more than a few. Big cancel there. I saw that, just seemed right. That one there I panicked a bit because it looked like I was gonna dodge into the lines. This bit here I found if I focus on the purple the lines, it usually worked out with everything else. I just had to step between them. and this is just a case of crossing over back and forth, getting the right position. That was a bit unfortunate. I should have just stayed still a little bit longer. I wouldn't have to use the bomb. This was where, like, thank God for the slowdown, and I'm really thankful it didn't just whiplash out of it. It's quite funny because the day before I was actually constantly getting hit by those big guys, and I'd never been hit by them before, so it was frustrating as hell. So this third boss, this first pattern is a bit messy, but it's not so hard. It's just sometimes it does trap you a bit depending on how he moves. And this part here is more or less just dodging on sight and then crossing over before you get boxed in by the broader shots, which I ended up having to dodge through. And this part here is quite simple, as long as you're keeping calm and paying attention. Now this part's pretty easy, I thought, but sometimes the slowdown can just make it feel really unresponsive as you're trying to shift a little bit or make a bigger swing. And from here the boss is pretty easy, but I hit that stream like an idiot. Not that I had any bombs anyway, but it made me panic a bit, and I'm sort of like, oh shit. Ended up doing this bit just fine, and from this point I know I'm pretty good, because all I have to do is sit here and wait for that to end, and then the final pattern's not too bad at all. He dies quick enough, and I just bomb him anyway to be safe. For me at this point, getting into stage 4 with a life and the extend, or close to getting the extend, was a really good setup for a run. The only thing is, I'm looking at my score here and I'm thinking, God, that's low. Like I said at the start, I'd seen runs where people were getting their extends midway through that stage. Stage 4 is, well, I can't really explain what happens from here onwards. This is just instinct, muscle memory, and nerves working all in my favour. I tried this stage in practice mode quite a bit. It never worked out the same. Anytime I got here in a proper run, it was way faster, or it felt like enemies were just coming in faster groups. So this part here, I normally dodge through the first spread that comes from those grasshoppers, and then as the big cluster of bullets comes out of the centipede or worm or whatever that is, yeah, I normally sort of try to dodge back through them. So if they're pushing to the left, I try and push to the right underneath them, or vice versa. Wait for the cancel and then cross. Just a lot of going left and right in this stage, trying to get around the clusters of bullets as they come onto the screen. To the left, to the right, to the left. I think at this point I actually hit my bomb button, but I hit it so badly that I didn't actually trigger it. And it worked out in my favour. I'm still just going here, just slowly streaming and going left and right. This boss tilts me. I always melt this boss. He's never a problem. Never ever a problem. And then anytime I have a good run, this pattern gets way closer than I'd ever like to, and I use a bomb. I didn't need to use that bomb, but I did. So that pissed me off a little bit, and I'm actually cursing to myself as I'm going through this section. But I'm still staying calm. That dodge there scared me a bit, but it just felt right. This is where things get really silly though. I can't really explain it. Like I said, they felt right at the time. More left and right dodging. I think coming up is when I do something very silly. The slowdown was helping me a lot here. So I'm just focusing and pushing across, trying to make it slow down a little bit more and more readable. This bit here... No, that bit was fine. It must be coming up. Yeah, this cross here, that was kind of just my body working by itself. Big fat cancel going across. There's just not much to say because I'm just... Yeah, that dodge. That was the one was like, shit, I just needed to go a little bit more forward. Playing with fire, but it paid off. This stage is actually really fun, but it starts to feel like it goes forever and ever, especially when you've got the nerves of a proper run. So this bit here, I knew the cancel was going to save me. This moth showed up on screen, I'm thinking, just end already. But it's alright, because I'm pretty close to the boss now. Just letting myself stay calm and push through. So here we get to the stage 4 boss, and this guy's... I don't really like this fight. He's not too hard, it's just he's got a pattern or two which can be really hard to read. Like this one here, you go through and those purple orbs, they sort of like come down so quick it's hard to see where the gap's going to be. I probably need to push up, but it's done. Bit of on-site dodge. This, yeah, I've got no answers for that. So I'm just edging across, getting to the final phase, and at this point this one's easy, but it does try to mess me up a little bit. Yeah, this little crisscross here. But that's stage 4 boss done. I don't really enjoy that boss. I find it pretty easy, particularly like the second and third patterns, but it's too easy to end up dying accidentally there, and it's tilting when it happens in a proper run. So here I am getting to stage 5, and my heart is absolutely pounding. I get the extend, and I'm just like, oh my god, my score's atrocious. I've got no bombs, and I don't know. I think the ghost of Arcada's career actually crawled up inside me and just took control. He was like, you don't need bombs. You and me are going to dodge this together. And he just took control. Though the start of this stage I'd practiced enough, this wasn't too bad, but this is coming a lot faster than what I was used to in practice. And because I don't have any bombs, it's just getting faster and faster. I can't actually drop that stage rank. That dodge was crazy, but trust in Arcada. This bit startled me a bit. I almost dodged straight up into that stream, and that cross, phew, no idea. I'm kind of just brain off here. I'd done this enough in practice to know I can do this stage without dying. And I kind of had a plan in mind for Larsa. That scared me a bit because I knew this guy was coming and I thought they were going to push me into it. I normally stick to the right there, but I moved away for some reason. It didn't really affect me too much. I think I killed the guys I needed to. And again, this is a lot of crisscrossing left and right, while getting in position for the big guys and just preparing for certain patterns the enemies have. I normally try and just align between the purple lines and the red fire with those guys. So I know I'm approaching the mid-boss here, and I know he's just really easy. He's really easy, and somehow I died to him once, like on a run where I got here before. My hands just kind of failed, and it's on the next pattern. I just sort of stayed still while one of these purple balls hit me. But this run I just do what I need to do, and the slowdown starts to die off there. And he's gone. I normally shift over to the left and kill these guys that are coming down, exploit the fact that their bullets are being cancelled. This bit's always hairy, especially with no bombs. I kind of just shift over to the left and then step through towards the right. As you can see, moving over to that corner, and then I keep firing for this guy who is living a little bit longer than normal. So at this point I've not even noticed what the stage counter's at. And I know what I've got to do to get this one up. And I've got no bombs, so I can't accidentally bomb it. But I'm very, very worried that I'm gonna suicide while trying to get it, so I'm kind of being a little aggressive while also trying to, see, bit of luck, bit of Akada's spirit. Yeah, and so the stage count has gone up to 9999, and stuff's getting a little bit crazy here. He lives a bit longer than normal, and then the next stream of bullets, they start coming way faster than anything I saw in practice. Dealt with it the same way, but that was like, oh shit. Especially here. Lucky I had that bomb. So that's managed to drop the stage counter and make things a bit more manageable. But I'm still nervous because this is where I normally needed to use a bomb, because I'd find myself getting boxed into one side, but I can't really answer for it. I just ended up doing the dodging I needed to do and getting through this. And I think it's about here I probably would have used a bomb to actually get through one of those sections. And it's normally around this descent that I would find I needed to use one. I almost got hit by that stream. This was a interesting section because I found if I was a bit slow I could loop around the entire screen. But whenever I started to do that in proper runs, I'd collide into an enemy. Once again, one of the differences with practice. So here's another silly dodge. More focus firing, stepping through the patterns. I think it would have been there that I normally would have used the bomb, but once I killed that enemy and I realised where I was actually at in the stage, and I saw the amount of lives I have, I thought, oh, yeah, I've got this, I've got this. And so I kind of just sit over here, and what I normally would do is rapid fire downwards, shift down, go across to the left, start focus firing, and then I'd shift to the right. But I was so giddy with where I was at, I just forgot and started pushing through. And so here I just start bombing. I'm thinking, I've got to see the patterns a little bit. Kind of victory lap mentality here. Another bomb. This pattern, in practice, I'd bomb this early and only deal with the latter half of it, but I can't, and I just wiggle through. and managed to get through, although I normally don't see as much of this part. And that's my last death for this run. I just bomb spam Larsa, get this over and done with. I want to see those credits roll. I want to put my name up on the scoreboard. This part, sometimes sitting still works perfectly. And I don't know how I read that dodge at the end. That was a legitimately read dodge. I was just like, nope, that's coming, step left. And that's that. That's Mushihimesama, Futari, Black Label, original cleared. And I think it was a lot of fun. I think the game's really fun. It's got a lot of great vibes to it. It feels nice to play. The extends are kind of strange. They sort of feel like they come late in a playthrough. Compared to a lot of other games, they sort of come, I feel like they come early stage 3 if everything's on track, but in this game they just kind of, for me, they came really late in the run. I didn't even think I'd get the second extend in that run, but I did just before Larsa. I've heard of people which are much better players than me saying they get the extend during Larsa or after actually beating her and getting to the clear screen. So that surprised me, but it's probably because I just had to make do with no bombs and just went through that stage with the counter getting higher and higher and higher. Besides that though, I'm not too sure if I'd move on to Maniac straight away. I might try 1.5, or I might even go to the original Mushi and try 1.5 there. Otherwise, I really don't know. It might be time to look at some of Outside's games and put a bit more time into them. But I suppose I'll think on that and see what I come up with in the next day or two. Thank you for watching. I hope there's something here that you might have enjoyed or learnt from it. I'm not too sure, but yeah, have a good one. See ya.